Like if you found the video valuable. Daniel Morgan was not the type to believe in ghost stories. He was a software consultant who lived by numbers, logic, and facts. So when he pulled into the forgotten town of Fairbrook on a stormy night, all he wanted was a dry bed and a hot meal. The inn stood crooked at the end of Ashford Lane. Its sign, half eaten by rust, swayed in the wind, the Ashford Arms. Inside, the lobby smelled faintly of mildew and old wood. A woman with hollow eyes and a tired smile sat at the desk. "One night?" she asked. "Yes," Daniel replied, setting down his bag. "Anything available." She hesitated, rifling through a drawer before producing a brass key. It was old, its numbers rubbed smooth. The tag was blank. "This is the only one we have left." Her voice faltered as she slid it across the counter. "Third floor, end of the hall." Daniel pocketed it without much thought. But as he turned to climb the stairs, he noticed the innkeeper making the sign of the cross. The hall stretched longer than it should have, narrow and suffocating. The wallpaper peeled like shedding skin. At the very end waited his door, darker wood than the rest, its handle icy cold. Inside, the room was simple. A bed, a dresser, a single window that overlooked the empty street. Everything was still, as if the air had been trapped for decades. Daniel shook off the unease, set his laptop on the dresser, and lay down. But sleep didn't come. Instead, a sound rose from the floorboards beneath him, faint scratching, like nails dragging wood. He sat up, heart pounding, but the noise stopped. Shrugging it off, he switched on the TV. Static. Every channel, nothing but static. The clock on the wall ticked backward. At 2:13 a.m., the scratching returned, louder this time. Daniel dropped to the floor, pressing his ear against the wood. The sound came from directly beneath the bed. Slowly, he lifted the bedskirt. Nothing. He exhaled and laughed nervously. Get a grip. But when he rose, he froze. The dresser was no longer against the wall. It now stood in the middle of the room, drawer open, as though inviting him. Daniel whispered, "I didn't move that." The door rattled violently, as if something on the other side wanted in. He rushed to it, but the handle wouldn't turn. Locked. He yanked harder, shouting for help. No response. Only the scratching, now climbing up the walls, surrounding him. The window was his only escape. He hurried over, but instead of the street below, he saw an endless hallway stretching into blackness. The same hallway outside his door, repeating forever. His reflection in the glass blinked, but he hadn't. It smiled at him. Panic clawed at his throat. He stumbled back, knocking over a chair. The scratching ceased. The room fell silent, too silent, like the pause before thunder. Then, from the shadows in the corner, a whisper, "Stay." Daniel spun. The corner darkened, the shadows stretching upward, shaping into a tall figure. Its face was blank, skin like damp parchment, but its voice hissed with hunger. "You opened the door," it rasped. "Now you belong here." Daniel bolted for the door again, pounding until his fists bled. At last, it swung open, but instead of the hall, there was only another room. Identical to his. Same bed, same dresser, same window. "No," he whispered. He stepped inside, and the door slammed shut behind him. The next morning, the innkeeper stood in the empty hallway, staring at the door at the end. She reached for the knob, but stopped. The brass tag on the key still lay on her desk. Blank. Always blank. No guest who entered the last room on Ashford Lane ever checked out. And now, room 6 had a new occupant.